Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News at 5 a.m. as we are waking up to a fresh coat of snow across the metro. It's done falling, but it is packing onto the roads already, so you'll have to be careful on your morning drive.
And we have a lot of school delays across the metro because of the weather. Just a few here. Douglas County delayed 90 minutes. Denver, Jeffco, and Adams 12 are all delayed for 2 hours. We have a list of all the closures and delays scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You can also check your district at any time on the denverchannel.com or the Denver 7 Plus app.
Meanwhile, we have our team spread out across the area to give you a real-time look at the conditions in your neighborhood. And Lisa and Jason have joined us here at the desk. Denver 7 Weather Action Day, and driving in, you know, the roads are not great out there.
No, they're not, but it's better than what we had from the previous storm.
Right.
So at least we have that going for us. And it depends on where you're going. You're going to find the different road conditions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My glass is half full, Jason.
Well, you know, I gotta, you know,
Yeah,
the glass
better,
of tea.
not great. Yeah.
That's right.
It's good when you get some positivity out of Jason.
Wait a
that's
minute.
for sure. Yeah.
We went, I promised you, from sunshine to snow
Yep.
to sun within 24 hours. Take a look. Skies are clearing out on satellite and radar down across the southeastern corner of the state. That is the last spot to see some of that snow. It was a fast-moving storm, and I'll show you some of the numbers coming up here in a few minutes, but around 4 to 8 inches for most of the metro area. It's cold now, though, this morning. Snow has stopped falling, but we're going to be in the teens early on. Erie right now, 11. Firestone, 15. Lakewood, 17. And in Arvada right now, 7. It's going to feel more like single digits with some single-digit wind chills out there. Take a look at the warm-up. We're going to be likely right around freezing between 1 and 2 o'clock. Low 30s, and then highs that'll be right around 35 this afternoon. In the mountains, you're going to find some 20s and 30s. So we're looking at actually some warmer conditions well out west. Grand Junction, 42. A lot warmer this weekend. We'll take a closer look at that on the Super 7 Day coming up.
And right now, the drive overall looks, well, it's not horrible for us this morning, which is good, but you will find some slick conditions, and obviously we are going to see lighter than normal traffic early because of the school delays that we have around town. Out to the west, we do have Loveland Pass closed down. We have some chain of traction laws out to the west. You can see some of the other road conditions. Up to the north, it's actually not that bad. Highway 34 at I-25, and you see the conditions in the Denver Tech Center. Take a look at the one crash we have downtown Denver, I-25, right after 20th, right before Spear. You see the left side of the highways blocked up. I think we're going to see a lot of crashes like this. People are going to get comfortable with the conditions. They're going to go 60 or so when it's more comfortable to go in the 40s and 50s. And you can see on the map we do have some slow traffic across downtown right now because of it. So just be aware of some of the changing road conditions. Lane recognition is going to be a little bit tough in most areas for you, especially off the highways, and speeds for the most part in the 40s and 50s. Some folks are trying to go 60, and then we'll see them getting into crashes. Veronica Acosta is over here in Old Town Arvada taking a look at some of the pretty lights there. It looks like Christmas almost. Christmas time there, Veronica.
It feels like it a little bit too, Jason, and the good news is that the snow no longer falling. Obviously, here in Arvada, they saw about 7 inches of snow. You can clearly see it on the ground here in Old Town. There's that fluffy light snow that we like to see from time to time. And there have also been crews out here making sure that the roadways are clear. You see a plow just coming up there behind us. This is a closed off area in the Old Town. I'm sure a lot of you know what this looks like. But there were crews and there were plows just making sure that this area is clear for any people who might be coming by here later. If you're curious about that highway drive, we did take I-70 from Denver to Arvada. And Jason said this earlier, the roadways are looking much better this time around than they did that last term. That's definitely true for I-70. We're going to keep making our rounds through Arvada and get you updated on what those conditions look like, at least in this part of town.
Yeah.
Guys, back to you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Veronica. We want to get to the east side of town where our colleagues coming into work this morning said that the roads were pretty rough east to Denver.
Yeah, Denver 7's Colette Bordelon is live in Aurora at the Dayton RTD station. This is off of 225. Obviously a high traffic area in the mornings. A lot of people taking public transit as well. How's it looking out there, Colette?
Yeah, well, actually the highway here at 225, it's not too bad right now. Some of these side streets, we did slip a little bit when we were at the lights trying to start and stop, of course. You can see behind me though, cars moving pretty smoothly on 225 here, that Dayton station, like you said, just right back there, people heading off to work this morning. Like Veronica was saying, this snowstorm really not what we were seeing with the last one, where you had that thick layer of snow. Out here right now, the roads, you can tell they've been maintained. You can obviously tell that that snow stopped at some point overnight, and that people have been out here making sure that people are able to get to work this morning. You can see a car here getting on this on-ramp though, and you can kind of make out how much wider the road is over here as compared to the highway. Now we're going to be moving a little bit further into Aurora this morning. Like we heard from some of the people we work with, those were some tricky spots there. I know my neighborhood road seemed a little bit more slippery down in Lowhigh, but still manageable even for us here in Colorado who drive a Honda Civic. I'm not pointing the finger at me or anything like that. But yeah, I'm sure, Brian, you're kind of jealous of my job today. I know. I know.
Hey, it looks pretty nice out there. Again, not as bad as the last winter storm. So we'll check in with you here shortly, Colette. The storm, meanwhile, is moving east, and it's bringing rain to parts of Oklahoma, up to New York, all the way down to Georgia, and it's impacting some flights in and out of DIA. We just checked FlightAware, and there are 59 cancellations and 20 delays so far, so just be sure to check your flight status before you head out there. We'd also love to see what the snow looks like in your area. Kind of depends on where you are across the Front Range. You can always post to the Discover Colorado Through Your Photos Facebook page. Christina shared this video of the snow falling. Very pretty there. Kristen posted this shot from Aspen. You can join the page by heading to facebook.com/RCO. Also, you can keep up with the road and weather conditions anytime with the free Denver 7 Plus app. We have an hour-by-hour forecast and our 24/7 weather stream there. You can also get push alerts for crashes that you should know about on the roads. You can download it right to your Roku, Amazon, Apple, or Android device.
This morning, the Douglas County School Board will post the job opening for superintendent. This comes after a more than 5-hour meeting that went late into last night. The board decided to extend the timeline in its search for a superintendent. It plans to discuss applicants on March 1st and could vote on finalists March 3rd. The board has to finalize that plan at next Tuesday's meeting. Sources in Douglas County tell us the choice by the majority school board for the next superintendent is Erin Kane. She's a former interim superintendent in Douglas County and currently heads up the American Academy Charter School. However, no names have been made public. Meanwhile, Douglas County Schools will not be releasing the names of the teachers who called out sick on February 3rd to protest the firing of former Superintendent Corey Wise. The district had to close school for a day because so many teachers called out. Those names were requested through an open records request, but safety concerns arose when teachers at 2 schools found threatening letters left on their cars. The district tells Denver 7 that law enforcement is looking into the letters. Breaking overnight, there are reports of explosions in eastern Ukraine. Russian-backed rebels and the Ukrainian army both accuse the other side of firing despite a ceasefire. This comes as new intelligence suggests Russian forces are building up for a potential invasion. ABC's Ike Ajachi is in Washington with the latest.
This morning, the Russian military releasing these videos claiming its forces are withdrawing from Ukraine's border. But new satellite images from private security firm Maxar shows Russia's continued military buildup near Ukraine, the White House estimating as many as 7,000 additional troops have been added. The UK's top military intelligence officer says additional armored vehicles, helicopters, and a field hospital are moving toward Ukraine's borders. Those sources also say combat medical units have been moved into forward positions. Military experts claim social media, better internet service, and satellites make Russia's attempt at the element of surprise more difficult to pull off.
We haven't seen a pullback. We'd like to see one. If we see one, we would welcome it. We're prepared for diplomacy. We're prepared for aggression. We're prepared either way.
Invading Ukraine will prove to be a self-inflicted wound. The United States and our allies and partners will respond decisively.
But the high-level diplomatic push continues. Vice President Harris leaving for Germany this morning to participate in a security conference with European allies. Meanwhile, Russia announcing an investigation into unproven claims of alleged mass graves of civilians in the Russian-controlled regions of eastern Ukraine. U.S. officials suspect the claims are part of a false flag operation intended to justify a Russian attack. And in Ukraine, a tale of two realities. The country celebrating an impromptu holiday of national unity, while those same residents prepare for possible war. Ukraine's capital taking steps to protect its residents in case of a Russian invasion, including thousands of bomb shelters. Later this morning, the UN Security Council will meet to discuss the Minsk agreement between Russia and Ukraine, an agreement that could end the conflict. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
Well, quite a few schools delayed this morning. It's a Denver 7 weather action day through the early morning hours because it's cold and obviously it's going to be slick out there. We'll be in the teens at the bus stop this morning. It'll feel like single digits though, so jacket, hat, gloves, might even want boots depending on how snowy it is in your neighborhood. We'll see more melting though this afternoon and we'll be just above freezing by the time your kids get home.
And of course, the late start will take some people off the roads early this morning, which will help us out if we're going to be having to travel around town. We just made that turn off of 225 to go east on Mississippi. Look how much snow cover is on the bridge here as we're coming up to the traffic light. It's going to be tricky trying to stop and then start again at some of these intersections with just so much snow cover out there this morning.
Well, the tension between Russia and Ukraine, as we mentioned, is impacting us here at home. How the uncertainty abroad is affecting prices at the gas pump.
The odds are in Denver's favor to get Aaron Rodgers next season, but a new development in his personal life might impact his decision.